What's up, YouTube? What's up, Discord? I'm like a little annoyed that I didn't upload my video yesterday. What I often do is go on long tangents. I try to do like a quick 5 to 10 minute video. It was 40 minutes. So I was like, man, I'm not uploading this. I can't even, half the stuff I was saying, YouTube, the way they are with censorship, it wasn't like too bad. It's just YouTube is extremely liberal. But essentially what I said was, people think like we're going to get some big bounce tomorrow because the markets were so bad. And I specifically, implicitly said, no, we aren't. That's not happening. That was day one of the reaction to the tariffs. And that's what the Discord already knew. So if you follow my channel, but you're not in Discord, and you maybe you bought calls or you went long on stock and you got owned, that's why you go into a Discord that costs 50 cents a day, right? To have access to the truth, reality, not, going on stock twits and listening to pumpers try to pump everything every day, no matter what. And whenever the market's red, they go manipulation or whatever. They just try to blame everything. They don't actually, they don't have an in-depth understanding of what the hell's actually going on. So yeah, those tariffs just went from bad to worse. There was one exception today, and I'll get to that in a sec, but like we already discussed it in the Discord and alerts went out. So yeah, I mean, we woke up, I had specifically mentioned Lululemon yesterday, and the puts were up 45,000%. Someone bought the puts. And today they posted in the Discord in the gain section 4,000% gainer. They made 4,000%, guys. That's 40x. That's like more than that's the entire GameStop and AMC movement in one day. The AMC and GameStop movement was like 300%, and then but it was like twice, like January and May or something. So it essentially it equaled to like 36,000%, right? Something like that. So I mean, it happens. People get it. People get in on it, and they listen. Some people listen, and they do very well. We had a lot of members do really well. It's been a crazy ride, and it's the pain is probably not over. It looks like SPY wants to go to 500 psychological, and then below that you're looking at like 478 or something like that. I had the levels posted in my Discord, but it did not appear to me that this was the bottom. Now, stocks don't just go up and they don't just go down. And for 2 years, all the bulls have thought stocks only go up. They've literally laughed in the face at every dip and then, buy the dip. You're definitely not in a buy the dip phase, not on the broad market. So the caveat there, or the exception to that rule, would be, is the stock below 200 EMA is just check one. That doesn't necessarily mean it'll recover, but there's a better chance it can recover if it's trading below all supports. That means they're now resistances, and that gives it a magnet to move towards. But the main one and two things I'm looking for is it trading at or near COVID lows? And is it trading at or below even 10-year lows, right? I go back 5 and 10 years. So COVID was like 4.5, 5 years ago at this point, guys, and believe it or not. Most stocks just, they collapsed, and then they just, like I said, they ripped for years now. Kind of programmed in everyone's brains as if like the market will never correct, never come down, which is what we're seeing right now, right? So it's a really good indicator, because personally, I don't think we're going to be worse off on a stock. Like, take any company, let's say they're COVID low. Well, I'm just going to use Boeing because that's what one I just got into. So Boeing's COVID low hit 89, okay? But then like almost within a couple days, immediately corrected to about 120. It did that from like high 300 because everybody thought everyone was going to die. Anyone who was a completely irrational person who could not think for themselves, so 90% of population thought everyone was going to die. They were afraid of everything, just absolutely terrified. It was a joke to me. Like, I couldn't believe like how many people were falling for that shit, and how crazy it got, frankly, right? People would like go to malls and wear a cloth mask, but they were just terrified. The Starbucks, this jam-packed Starbucks, but yeah, that blue cloth mask is gonna protect you, Anyways, I'm not trying to do a big speech on COVID, but I'm just saying, is tariffs and trade wars gonna be worse than when the whole world, except for purebloods, thought everyone was gonna die, and the world was gonna be changed forever? I don't think so. It's gonna be bad, but it's not gonna be that bad. Okay, so to me, Boeing going to anywhere between 89 and 120, but I'm gonna call it 120, is kind of like the bottom. They've got earnings coming up on the 23rd. I think it's all priced in at that point. I think Boeing is set to really move, or at least regain positive momentum. I'm going the wrong way. I want to get a Starbucks. Speaking of, so do that for stocks that are really down in the last few days. If they're just down, like if they're Nvidia, okay, if they're Nvidia and they're at 98, I think it's like 100 now, but it was 98 today. That's not good enough. That's not good enough because they did a stock split in 2024 and they did a stock split in 2021. 40 Nvidia shares today is equal to one Nvidia share just after COVID. So if you go and you pull back a 5-year chart on Nvidia, it's only $5. So I'm not even joking you when I say Nvidia to me is a buy around like $7 to $10. It's not a buy at all. It's certainly not one that I would be expecting like a free money play on, in the next few days here. This is more or less kind of what I'm targeting is what do I think really isn't going to dip any lower here. I'm trying to be very cautious here. It's not simple enough to say, oh, well, if you think the market's still going down, just buy puts and because stocks don't just go down. The market doesn't just go down. It could trade flat for 3 days, kill a vast majority of options premium, and then go down. Or it could trade flat for 2, have a tiny move higher, and then go down. It doesn't necessarily have to just be down. That's not realistic. Up, which is basically what you got for 2 years, isn't realistic. The Trump trade, November to January, up. We had one stock had 20 days in a row green, Meta, 20 days, and I called for puts on that thing, and it gave a lot back on that 21st day. Okay, that's not normal though in any way, but neither is red. Granted, the news is not good, and what it means going forward is bearish. It is not good. Powell admitting inflationary, that this is inflationary. Well, in one breath saying we don't know, and in the very next breath reiterating how inflationary it is. But put him aside. We don't need you to tell us if it's inflationary or not, Powell, you douchebag. We know it's inflationary because history told you that tariffs and trade war is inflationary. You use your brain. If something's made in Taiwan or elsewhere with lower minimum wage and median wage, and now you're forcing it to be made somewhere else, say the USA, where minimum and median wage is 3, 4, and 5 times higher than there, what do you think that's going to cause the cost to make the product to do? Skyrocket 3, 4, and 5 times and go up. Okay? When it does that, okay, the product price goes up. That's called inflation. That's inflationary. That's not a mystery. We know that's going to happen. So yeah, going forward, I am bearish. It sucks I didn't have that video out, because it would have just been like, you were right again, which is, I get that a lot on the channel. You were right again. You know, if you're following only pumpers, guys, you really got to start following myself, or maybe some other channels, where not the channels that are doom and gloom all the time. And there's a couple of those guys, and unfortunately, they have a lot of followers, and they're just doom and gloom the entire time. And then they always tell you, I told you so. But a broken clock is right 2 times a day. You know, you have to be able to give call outs, as well as let people know when puts are the play, or when the market is actually dipping. You can't just say one thing, and then when it actually happens, okay, well, I've been telling you. Well, okay, well, you've been telling for 2 years, and in 2 years, the market went up 122%. You would have lost every nickel and dime you had if you followed some of those people. Whereas I try to be more practical and just give you, you know, a more macro look. Like, what's happening now, and maybe in the near future. Not, you know, I'm not saying they only look a couple years out. I'm just saying, like, it just feels like some channels out there, some content creators, they just have a sole focus or a sole purpose, and they're not really, and at the end of the day, they just want you to buy a course or some shit. Our group, my group, the Free From It All Discord, you know, it's under 200 members, so it's you know, like a more intimate group. A lot of people in there helping one another. Lots of alerts going out. You know, I mentioned alerts. I mentioned I was going to talk about a tariff that had a big implications. Well, it's Vietnam. They said that they don't want any tariffs with the USA. They're going to get rid of them because they were one of the higher tariff countries. Well, I have to take this call. Join the Discord. Get the information. We'll go from there.